What up, everybody? Y'all know this y'all boy Solo Foe, and today we back with another episode of So What's the Issue. I'm sorry I had to take a little hiatus yesterday, but today I'm going to be talking about forgiveness, validation, and karma. And there's a reason why I say all three of these things together, because all three of these things do go together hand in hand when you really think about things, like just in general. But let me start with forgiveness. All right. So what forgiveness is whether you decide to forgive a person for something that they did to you or how they wronged you. And you have all right in the world to choose how you want to forgive somebody, if you want to forgive somebody, and how you want to deal with the traumas of whatever situation you went through. So for me, I've been told a lot like, hey, forgiveness isn't just for you. It's like not just for the other person. It's also for you. Forgiveness is this and forgiveness is that. But see, for me, what forgiveness is really is like, hey, I shouldn't always have to forgive somebody for something. See, when it comes to family, this is one thing I would tell you. When it comes to family, everybody will tell you that you gotta forgive people and give them another chance or become back on speaking terms or at least on a cordial terms. And this is the thing. You really don't have to do none of that. You don't have to do anything. I'm going to tell you what I heard Shannon Sharpe say, and I appreciate hearing this because I lived by this at one point in time, and I didn't really know the words for it, but he said it, and it made me smile because he said, man, if you always having to be the bigger person, if you always the one that has to walk away from a situation, you hanging around with way too many small people. And I said, man, because there was a situation that's been going on for years, on top of years for me. And when he said that if you are constantly having to be the bigger person and constantly walking away, then you hanging around way too many small people. And I'm going to tell you, that is the truth. That is the God's honest truth. If you are constantly having to deal with a headache from a specific person or particular people or whatever, a group of people, and you are consistently having to take yourself out of the situation, you're constantly the one that's got to take a deep breath. You're constantly the one that has to do this, and that. Get away from that person, whether it's hard feelings or not hard feelings. It is on you to keep dealing with something or not keep dealing with something. Stop letting people guilt trip you into having to be around, having to deal with people that you don't want to deal with mentally. See, let's say something like this. Let's just say your father was a junkie. Let's just say this scenario, your father was something just out the crazy. I'm just going to say your father, just for the scenario. Let's say your father was somebody that neglected you, beat you, raped you. Let's just say your father did something crazy to you. Then you have the choice within the future to deal with your father or not deal with your father. If you and your father, every time that y'all talk, if you and your father, every time that y'all talk or get around, he's either always using you for some money, beating you, yelling at you, and you're never the one that starts the situation, you need to do something for yourself and walk away from that situation entirely, because you are not obligated to have to continue to deal with that situation the way people try to make it seem just because, quote unquote, that person is your father. Now, these are scenarios because I'm not talking about anything in real life. I'm just talking about the scenarios. If you are constantly having to walk away or be the bigger person, or people are always coming to you, talking to you about how you're wrong in this situation, why not just let it go? Because I'm going to tell you this, I live this now. I let situations go. I walk away and I let it be. Because I can't make everyone in the world see my point of view. If people are going to rock with you, they're going to rock with you. If people are going to listen to you, people are going to listen to you. If people are going to listen to the other side, when you know you've clearly done nothing wrong in the situation, you can't change their opinion. Why? Because that's who they hang out with. That's who they run to. That's their go-to. That's who they need in their life for that validation or whatever it is that makes them continue to want to be around that person. You have to keep it amongst yourself to make sure you're straight. Validation. I'm going to tell y'all what validation is, and I heard a video yesterday, and it was crazy because I really understand the video, and these things are things that I live by and I didn't even know it. So what validation is you understanding where a person's coming from. So whenever a person says something to you, just, oh, okay, you know what? I see how my actions cause this reaction, or I see how this situation that I was a part of rolled into what this is now, or the situation that's transpiring now. So that's what validation is. Now, let me tell you something about validation. Validation works both ways. It works both ways. So if a person wants validation, guess what they have to do? Give validation. So if a person's only listening to you, now listen to this part. This is the part that you need to listen to. If a person's only listening to you to respond to what you have to say, like, you know how the boyfriend, girlfriends do. Y'all know how people do. Oh, well, you say your piece, and then they got a response. And then it's like, hey, but did you even listen to what I said? Like, did you even care about the words that I just told you? I told you this happened because of this. The reason why I was 10 minutes late getting home is because the gas was running low on this, and then they come back with you. Oh, it don't matter. You usually get back home at 10:15 on the dot. I ain't never seen. So if a person's not willing to listen to you, they're not willing to give you validation. So if a person's not willing to give you validation and they're always trying to make it seem like you're the fault, you're the blame, this is another situation where I will say, get away from that person, because all they want to do is make their point heard, make their point over you. So it don't matter what you had to do. You could have went through hell, hot water. You could have went through the pits. You could have go through the pits of paradise. You could have went through anything in the world to get to wherever situation you at, to try to be there for a person, do whatever for a person. But because they don't want to understand where you're coming from, they're never going to understand where you're coming from. They're just not gonna do it. They don't want to. Now, let me tell you about karma. We got this thing called karma. A lot of people say, well, you know, karma is you do something and bad things happen back to you for the same things that you do to whatever. Let me tell you something. I don't care how bad of a person a mother was. The child that lost its life at 10 years old, 9 years old, 8 years old was never karma for that child. That shit don't make no type of sense, because that 10-year-old ain't did shit to nobody to deserve to die at the age of 10 or coming out the womb. So you telling me because of past lives, past this, past that, you telling me a person deserves to suffer behind some shit that the next person had going on? And then for the person themselves, you telling me that karma comes back around to you? Let me see. Have y'all ever been at work and y'all had to deal with that angry supervisor or that angry coworker, and then somebody say, hey, you know what's going to be crazy? Karma's going to come back around to get them, so don't even worry about that. No. If you are constantly having to deal with a bad supervisor, as long as it doesn't put you at risk, you can leave that job. You do not have to keep sitting under people waiting for karma to get back at them, because you know what's going to happen next year? That person's going to get a promotion, and then they're going to get another promotion, and they're going to get another promotion. And all you're going to do is keep sitting there being the employee that gets mad every time this supervisor says something to you, and you're just looking real stupid because you're just waiting. Oh, something bad's going to happen. So you telling me when a person's grandma dies, that's what the karma is for a person putting you through shit? That's not karma. See, I personally can't believe in karma, because I think the word luck favors the prepared. So this is the thing. If you always leave out an hour early for work, guess what happens? You will likely never be unlucky by traffic. You will never be unlucky by traffic. So when a person says, oh, this other person over here lost their job because they always late to work, and that's karma for this, and that. No, that person's just somebody that always leaves out the door 10 minutes before they're supposed to be at work. So they're not prepared. They're not leaving themselves some type of room. So let's just say it like this. If you are always going through hard times, what is it that's putting you through hard times all the time? And I'm not trying to make this a drug-related thing, but I'm just doing this. If you spend $250 on your car, if you spend $250 on marijuana, if you spend $700, $800 on your rent, if you do this, and that, if you do all of these things and then expect to fit it under one budget and you don't work a decent job, of course, bad things are always going to seem like, oh, they're always happening to you. You're going to feel like a cursed person because you will never leave yourself any extra wiggle room with your financials. So yes, you're always going to go through some form of bad times and hard times. Now, let me put all of these things together like a nice sandwich for you. So let's just say that you as a person are going through it with another person. And let's just say this person has been, let's just say a father. I'm not even going to be specific. Let's just say a father. We're just going to use a father in the dynamic. Let's just say your father in the dynamic has always bullied you. He's always done this, and that to you or whatnot. And then people always come to you. Hey, well, look, your father's sick. He's gonna get old one day and he's gonna die, and he's gonna have karma off the back of the things that he did to you. That's not karma for what he did to me. Him getting old and passing away ain't nothing about karma that he did to me. So what are you talking about? Stop allowing people to come through and tell you how your scenario fits what they want it to be, because what they want to see you and that person have the same relationship that y'all have always had, even if it means that you've been an ass kisser for that person for your entire life. You could be an ass kisser for somebody for their entire life, from the beginning of the day you started to the day that you died. The reason why they push so hard for you to remain at that person's side is because they want to see the relationship always remain the way it's always been. But guess what? That leaves you fucked at the end of the day. That leaves you hurt at the end of the day. And then guess what? Those people will never give you validation. Those people will never say, hey, Tonio, we see where you coming from. We understand how you feel about this situation. They will go, and then you can tell a person 1,000,000 times. You can keep telling a person, hey, well, this person did this to me. This person did this to me. This person did that to me. And it don't matter, because as soon as they run back to that person, as soon as they get the word from that person, they're going to validate him because he's older, because he's sick, because he's this, because he's that. They're always going to validate that person. And then you know what they're going to come back to you and do? They're going to do you got to forgive. You got to be understanding. This person was young at the time. This person had this many amount of kids. This person did this and this and that. So I'm not talking about anything specific. I'm just giving out scenarios. I'm just giving, because who's been in something similar to what I'm saying right now with anybody? It could be a brother. It could be a sister. It could be a cousin. It could be a mother. It could be a brother. It could be anybody in the world that you're dealing with this situation with. But people will turn around and tell you also, hey, look, so karma's coming. Just, instead of you sitting here taking out your own reward of the situation by walking away, allow karma to handle the situation and you continue to deal with the situation. Fuck no. Fuck no. If everybody keeps telling you to keep dealing with this person, keep being around this person, and all it does is hurt you, and they don't want to see, hey, well, last month I gave him $1,000. This month I gave him $200 more, $400 more. I bought this person a whole couch. I did this for this person over here. I went out of my way to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I went out of my way to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning to go run and do something urgently for this person. But you know what everybody else doesn't care about? All the shit that you did. They will never, ever give a fuck about what you did. So instead of you sitting here, keep running, chasing, looking for validation, looking for this, looking for that, like, hey, I'm trying to be there. Because I'm going to tell you this. I did this at one point in time. I'm going to tell y'all this. I did this at one point in time. I loved a person so hard that did not love me, that was supposed to love me. And y'all going to skip this. This is going to go over y'all head. I loved a person so fucking hard that did not share the same type of love for me, the same type that I was pushing out, that I showed them so much fucking love. And then guess what they turned around and did? They turned around and threw my love in my face. They threw my love in my face and acted like it was their love. That got them where they are. But I was seeking validation. I was seeking some form of love. I was seeking some form of, hey man, look, I'm trying to be that person. You doing all this amazing stuff over here for all of these other people. I see you over there doing this, but you treat me some type of way. Oh, well, maybe it's because of this. Maybe because it's that. Well, maybe you don't understand the full scope of the situation. No, I see this person doing this over here. I see him. So all I got to do is somehow manage to get my love for myself on that level. So let me give gifts. Let me do this. Let me do that. I'm going to try a million things to try to go seek somebody's love. And guess what happened? Guess what happened for me? That shit got thrown in my face. That shit got smashed right back in my face. And a motherfucker act like, hey, you always had this type of love and dedication for me. So I don't know where I went wrong in the situation. It's obviously got to be you. And then telling all of these side people, hey, you remember what happened when this person was then and when that person was there? Well, guess what? I'm here to tell y'all right now to validate y'all. I want to validate y'all as the viewer. Anybody that's ever gone through anything similar of what I'm saying, you are right, because your story is told from the way you tell your story. Them other people that you are looking for to validate your side of the story, they were not there for 100% of what happened. And guess what they gonna do? They gonna swear to God, they gonna stand on it. They gonna be right back, acting like they were always there. They gonna act like they saw every inch of everything that the person did for you, but then turn around and then close their eyes to all the negative. Well, tell me, Tonya, you got to remember the good times. So remove my name, put your name. You got to remember the good times because it wasn't always bad. So you telling me I'm supposed to measure this much good versus that much bad and then come out with the good. Of course, you got traumatized. I'm going to tell you this right now. You are traumatized by every betrayal, every bad thing that you've ever done. You have always been traumatized by anything that everybody has always done to you. So don't let other people write the story about what you and somebody else go on, because all they want is what happened then? What happened then? Because you're entertainment to these people. You're just entertainment at this point. Because you can, like I said, you can say it a million times. You can weep. You can say, hey, but look at me and your relationship versus me and their relationship. I've never once disrespected any of y'all. I've never once did anything to any of y'all. So why do all of y'all keep coming at me like I done did something to y'all? I did something with this person over here that I didn't even start. I was just a victim of this situation, and y'all gonna keep attacking me. So guess what I'm gonna do? Guess what it's time to do? It's time to distance yourself from everybody. If everybody wants to always pick up the phone and call you and tell you about how you wrong in the situation, guess what? You hanging around too many small people, like Shannon said. You hanging around with too many small people. If you constantly gotta be the bigger person, if you constantly getting that phone call about how you gotta forgive somebody, you're hanging around way too many small people. Get away from them small people, because you don't need them in your life. You don't need not one of them in your life. Because they're never, whether they love you or not, they're never going to understand or listen to you, because they got it set in stone that they rock with that other person even more. And that's what I feel about forgiveness, karma, and validation. Because at what point in time has that other person ever been asked? Ask that person that called your phone. Hey, so the same phone call about forgiveness and this and that, did you also do that to the other person? Did you even try to figure out like what that person did to cause this result? Did y'all ever try to do that? No, you didn't? Oh, okay. You just calling me to make me the bad guy. Okay, cool. Hang up that phone. Lose contact. Because that's all that person's ever going to do is make you the bad guy of those situations. If you love me and you love that person, stay out of the business. If you that side person, stay out of the business. If you always gonna take that person's side, stay out the motherfucking business, because it's not your business at this point. All you want to do is sit there and keep calling the next person and keep making the next person feel bad about some shit that you'll never understand. And that's how I feel about it. So I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank y'all. It's been So What's the Issue.